talk about myself. I am Abhishek Mankuskar. I am professionally a freelancer, and I run a community named Social Winter of Code, which is an open source platform where we have open source projects, various open source projects and tools, and we have developers, those who contribute to open source actively. So it's a platform. So yes, this is me, and let's start with the session. So before starting, like why open source actually matters? What is the thing? Why you should do open source contributions, and what are the key things, right? So just imagine building a not building a startup from scratch. How it sounds, right? अगर सब कुछ like not सब कुछ but some things if you get readily available and you use it into your startups, so eventually it will help you to save time and many more planning stages, right? So open source is not only a free software which you can use into your products, but it's a movement where developers, organizations and business people come together and help technology to grow in more better way, right? So what open source brings with it, that is transparency, flexibility, cost efficiency and the collaboration. We'll see all these topics in detail in the next upcoming slides. So yes, like I told, cost reduction. We'll see benefits of open source for startup. First is eventually cost reduction. पैसा कैसे बचेगा ये पहले बताओ. That's the main thing, right? Okay. So yes, before this, how many of you are running your own startups? Just hands up. Okay, great. And how many are freelancing or planning to start your own startup? Great. Okay, we'll talk about cost reduction. Main thing, when you are using any of the open source software or tool, first thing is you are using their feature or the entire product. It's totally on you. What happens? There is licensing fees of many of the products. You have to license many things. First thing, the licensing fees is reduced very much because you don't have to work on it. It's previously done by any of the organization or any of the developer. First thing. Next, open source is like there are a lot of developers and designers who actually contribute to open source, and they are the one who are building that particular feature or whatever. It can be anything. It can be tech, it can be non-tech also. So there are expert developers who are actually creating the feature, they are testing the feature, and they are also adding more updates to it. So when you are working on your own feature or product, the developer cost is significantly reduced. Second thing, the management time and the management cost too is also reduced. And eventually when all these things are many things are changing here, right? Because in the professional organization there are some steps like, okay, developers honge, designers honge, testers honge, HR honge, like there are a lot of people. But when we are reducing some, the dependency on the other gets affected to it. So yes, these things you should make sure कि ये तो differences आने वाले, but yes, it will eventually help you. Next is adaptability and innovation. Now, when you are using any feature again, it's not necessary that you should use the entire product. You can also use a particular function from that open source project or the organization. If you want ki no, this is not enough, I want to add something into it, I want to add a new or a step to it to make it more better, you can do that anytime. Just you need to follow the documentation कि पहले क्या हुआ था उसमें काम, अभी तक क्या क्या हुआ है, and what needed to be done so that it will not affect the previous work, and how it will affect positively to your startup or your product, right? So you can add any of your new code to it, new feature to it, I will say the secret sauce to it, and you are not it's not necessary that you should keep it open. You can keep it secret, as definitely it's when you're building a product, you will keep the code secret. You can do that. You are not it's not necessary you should open all the things if you are using the open source. This is the second benefit of open source. For example, for some hospital products, you can use the open source tool Node.js, and you can connect it with the compliances. So yes, this is a step which is reduced, and it will actually help you. The third thing, it's very common. Can anyone guess what it can be? I mentioned about it in the first slide, the last point in the first slide. Okay, no problem. Sabka saath, sabka vikas. Now, can you guess what it can be? Right. So, if someone is saying Modi ji, no, it's not Modi ji. अगर वो कोई tech में कुछ ला दे तो okay, but no. Community support. So, when you are working on any open source project, there are a lot of organizations, communities, developers who are involved. Many people, right? So when you stuck into any of the stage, or when you are, like as we said, you are adding your own source to the code, and you are stuck into a particular field कि no अब ये काम नहीं कर रहा है. Why? Because the previous feature was using the dependencies XYZ, and our feature wants the dependencies that are new. So this is the problem which you can face when you are working on open source, but this can be easily solved using the community. You can reach out to anyone on GitHub, Stack Overflow, or any of the community platforms, like even the GDSC groups. You can message, okay, I am stuck into this feature. Can anyone help me? And the experts will definitely, there are a lot of developers who are ready to help. You will ask, okay, I just need one developer. There will be 100. So you'll have multiple solutions to it. And eventually, yes, when you're using all these things, you are using the community, it's necessary that you should also give back to it, right? So using open source code, okay, but if you are providing your expertise or what you have learned when you are building your own product, if you are keeping it open to, that's also a great thing. You are open to it, that totally depends on what your product is and what is your target is, right? Now we'll see open source as a growth hack. Growth hacks. Google show me the growth hacks to improve my startup, right? No. So first is credibility and networking. As we are now contributing to open source, right? We are using the features. As I said, you need to give back to the community. When your developers or you personally working on any feature, or you are creating an open source organization or open source tool, so it actually increases the reputation of yours in the community, that yes, you are working, you are doing the right thing, and your expertise are actually helping the community. Then that actually the developers can see you what you are doing, and it will increase your reputation and the trust in the market, I will say. So yes, this is one of the benefit of open source too. And networking, right? When the developers are connected to you, you can also provide them, many of them can ask to join you actually. Hire me, I will work for this particular product. You will be connected with various business person. Maybe they can also, you can also connect with them to ask about the investments for your particular feature. So there are a lot of possibilities that you can do, like implement here, and grow your product or the startup. Next is marketing via open source. Now, as we talked, we have various people from various domains here. So when you are working together, they are actually, if you are doing good, if all the things are, of all the guidelines are well prepared or followed, Then eventually they will tell about your startup or whatever your product is to the other developers or the members in the community. So what is being done here? Marketing. Free में हो रहा है, right? Then there are content writers too in the open source. There are the people who write the documentation, because the documentation is very important here. Because if, for example, I am working on a feature and I think, I want to work on any other product now or any other feature. I'm done with this tech stack, and just after my leaving, this person comes up and okay, I will continue now. So here he will see what I have done until now. He needs to understand, and how he will understand that? Reading the documentation. So these content writers or the documentation people, they will kind of also promote you through writing the blogs कि okay, इस open source project में ये सब कुछ हुआ है अभी तक. This is how it is helping the community. These are the tech stack or the guidelines they have mentioned. So yes, this is kind of a actually free marketing tool also, which you can use into your product, right? Okay, this is meme, you can just see it. I don't know how to just crack a joke here. Some of the practical advice for startups. Okay, advice to dena chahiye, right? Advice sab dete. Before going ahead, can anyone tell if you are working on any open source tool or open source product? Okay, so how are you using that to build your product or startup, whatever? You're not. Okay. Anyone here who is building their startup and using open source tools or organizations to leverage that? Okay, no. Yes. Sorry? Life rate. And what it does? Okay. Okay. So is it helping you? Great. What are the other problems that you face while building a product, which you can relate with, which you can think that open source can solve? Can anyone relate anything into their own product? Or do you know any tools, open source tools? MongoDB सब use करते हैं, वो open source ही. No SQL, right? Okay, no problem. We'll go to the advice only. So managing licenses, right? So when licenses, it comes when you are working on an open source product. You are building an open source product here. So there are various licenses. First is MIT license. Second is Apache. The difference is only Apache license you can use if you want to patent your product or the feature. For the MIT license, it's totally open. It's like, okay, anyone can come, anyone can use it, edit it, update it, and suggest if he or she wants to add any feature to it. These are these two are very common licenses. There are also some other licenses. You can search it and use it according to your startup need, and what things you want to keep secret and what things you can make public for open source or the community. Second is building open source culture. Now, if you have developers working into your team, try promoting open source culture, or try asking them to contribute to open source project, so that they will learn how things work around here, how to work with the different other developers who they don't know. There may be anyone. Today I'm working with person A, or tomorrow tomorrow the person A goes and again the B comes. So he or she needs to be adapt easily with that particular person or the colleague of him. So try promoting the open source culture into your startup or whoever the developers you are working with. Third is handling security concerns. This is the most, I will say, a bug kind of thing which open source has. There are a lot of security concerns, but it can be managed easily if you regularly keep a track of all the things what you have taken from open source, like you can see what code you have taken, what dependencies it had, if all like are those dependencies continued right now or they have changed, are there any bugs or any kind of issue into that particular feature or product. If you can keep track of all these things, then I don't think that you will face any kind of issues there. Just I will see some share some of the tools. Okay, so to see if there are any bugs or any errors into your code or the open source code you have used, you can use tools like SonarQube and Sync to catch issues easily. And other things which you can follow, you can use dependent or npm bot to track all the things what's happening into community. You can keep reading the blogs in the open source community okay, this is the new product we have seen, and this is how they are working. Or there will be definitely some blogs, some writers who will write okay, this was the open source product and they are having these kind of issues. So always there are flags, you just need to keep track of it, and if all these things are done right, then definitely you will not face much of the security issues here, and you will like go easily through the procedure what you are following into your product, right? So these are some of the tools and organizations. You can take photo of it. You can just search what they provide to you. Start with reading the documentation they have. Read what is done until now. Also read if there were any issues that were raised by the developers or the people contribute to this particular project. So I will just show one demo to you. Okay. There are some more tools. These are some tools which are not much known into the community. Like MongoDB सबको पता, mostly सबको पता होगा, but these are not like, these are some hidden. They have some of their features hidden, and most of it open for the open source community. We'll see just one demo here. This is the documentation. If you want to see or if you want to create any new issue or see what issues they have solved, you can go to the GitHub issues, GitHub pages, and here you can see these are some of the issues they have created. So yep, no feature idea, no focal board exist confirmation message. This is the issue they want to be worked on. This was the bug, language choice not saved in setting. So you can judge a particular open source tool or project depending on what issues they have created. You can also see the pull requests that have been merged previously, what kind of pull requests were merged. Then if you want to go more deep into that product, you can also see while merging a issue, what issues that a developer faced. Actually, you can learn many things from here. Okay, क्या क्या problem आ सकते हैं, which you can't see when you are choosing a issue or choosing a product. Right. So yes, this is one of the project. You can when you are starting, you can also read the documentation here. You can see the file structure. It's totally open, free to just you can download. You can also see the website, the tech stack, what is being used here, like here, and yes, the documentation part here. And if you are satisfied, then go ahead. No one is stopping you to use that particular feature into your startup or the product, right? Just make sure you follow the guidelines because it's too much important. It reduces your work like in terms of creating a feature, but it also increases the responsibility on you to track the things. Okay, now I'm using it, I need to keep it safe and to see if it's the feature is safe or the code is safe or not. At the end, I'm sure that you will prefer using the code rather than actually typing it and doing all the stuff. Okay, so yep, these are some other tools and organizations. हाँ समय तो आ गया है विदा लेने का, but okay, you can take photo of it too. Automatic, GitLab, MongoDB. You must have heard some of the words here. DigitalOcean, Kubernetes, right? Anyone used any of these tools? You have worked on open source. You have used open source tools. Then why you are saying you are not used, right? Not all of their features are open, but yes, most of them are open, and some of the features they are working right now. And I hope they will make it open after they have actually tested it, and if they think it's good for the community. So yes, any questions until now? No? इतना clearly बताया यार. Yeah, it was sleepy. Okay, no problem. So yes, this is it. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you want to also contribute to open source as a developer, you can go to SWOC website. It's socialwinterofcode.com. You can see some of the open source project. You can choose your own tech stack which you want to learn or you want to upskill yourself. You can also actually practice your skills there. But practice as not कि काम किया है उसको ऐसे ही छोड़ दिया है, नहीं. If you are doing it, make sure you're doing it rightly. Take your time. And yes, I will say keep contributing to the community. Happy open sourcing. Great. Thank you.